amend the Articles of Confederation. And in their own wisdom, they knew that amending that Articles of Confederation would not lead America to the promised land. And they brought about a brand new constitution.
And you say that's what we must do.
That's what I believe we must do for National Assembly to know that, look, they have the power to continue to make laws for Nigeria. They have the power to tinker with the constitution. But let them set a process of convoking a conference in place so that we would have a constitution that, in my view, would set the foundation, set the tone for economic prosperity of Nigeria, for equity to prevail, for equal opportunities for people.
But you know, we had Deputy Governor of Lagos State on tape last week where she said, look, even if you have a parliamentary system of government, it's not the system of government per se, it is the people. It is the same people that you have in this system of government that you will have in that other system of government. So if the people decide to make it work, it will work.
With due respect to the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, I'm unpersuaded by that argument.
Why?
By the simple reason of the fact that if you rely on the people to change their ways, the society will be put into jeopardy. It is the institutions, the laws that you have in place that will regulate the conduct and affairs of human beings.
Who will operate them?
Human beings, based on the provisions of that constitution. Look, the issue we're talking about is parliamentary system of government, because it has internal self-controlling mechanism. For instance, if you want to reduce the cost of election in Nigeria, I mean, INEC has demonstrated total lack of competence to regulate how much money a presidential candidate can spend. Because for a president to emerge in Nigeria, you will have to spend billions of naira. That's the foundation for corruption. But in a parliamentary democracy, all you have to do is cover your constituency, spend less money, and then your co-parliamentarians will freely elect you. Policies of government will be daily debated, and you have another government in place, a government in waiting, who will always give the people the alternatives. Look, rather than go this route, this is what we should do, and then people will make up their mind, well, during the next election, this is the government we will vote for. The fear that it breeds instability, for me, is unpersuasive, because we had it in the First Republic. It was not because of parliamentary democracy that, or the inherent fundamentals of parliamentary democracy that the government broke down. It was because the government at the center wanted a party who did not win in Western Nigeria to take over the reins of government, and hell was let loose. Respect the wishes and views of the people.
Did you have the chance of attending any of the public session?
I've just said that I was a moderator at the Lagos East public hearing that took place in Grandview Hall.
Oh, you meant this particular one?
Yes, I was a resource person. And what we did was to explain the implication of, for instance, parliamentary democracy. For instance, creation of local government. Professor Isesage said it. And I respect his opinion that, look, you can't have 3 tiers of government in your constitution, for God's sake. And they are doing it all over the world. If you want to run a truly federal system, it has to be 2 tiers. Federal, center, limited powers, 1 tier. The second tier, as I've advocated here, is that you scrap all the states and have autonomous, resource controlling, strong local government that will not be strong enough to put the territorial integrity or become centrifugal. Because I have to explain it very carefully. The fear of disintegration is the major problem of Nigeria. It's becoming an albatross that we must be united at all costs. I don't have any problem with that. Even though there's nothing sacrosanct about unity. If you can't put fundamentals of unity in place, then to that extent, history.
You know,
now, to assuage the fears or put at rest the fears of the people who believe that if you have very strong regional governments, there's that tendency for that government to want to pull back and break away from Nigeria.
As we've seen in the past.
Because because of Ojukwu, really. But what led to that? There were immediate causes. There were remote causes. Why don't you think out of the box and ensure that you put some mechanism in place that will guide against that? After all, when they were at the Aburi conference, they came with some constitutional arrangement that will have guaranteed autonomy for eastern region of Nigeria within the framework of a federal republic of Nigeria. If you don't want any strong regional government, then have autonomous, strong, resource-controlling local government as they have in Brazil. My local government in Remo North can decide to explore either the bitumen or the resources in my local government for the benefit of the people in my local government. And it will not be strong enough to want to say, hey, I want to opt out of Nigeria. My dear, regionalism, autonomy, and unity are not mutually exclusive. It is just that we have not done the right thing. But it's not just wishes. You sit down in the comfort of your sitting room thinking that we must be united. You have to work at it. Slowly, gradually.
Speaking about the local government, does it mean that the type we operate currently, some say, look, that's a typology of what to expect, of what will come up, even if you're going to have a different system of government. And they also think that, by the way, those who support this system of government, while they held those people's public sessions, couldn't they have organized themselves across the country and then come up with these views and let the people actually see the light, as they say? But that didn't happen, did it?
My brother, local government autonomy, regulation, control have been heavily politicized because it is the government that is closest to the people. Politicians use local government for winning election, and that's understandable. By the way, Hargon, Association of Local Government of Nigeria, their representatives came to the public hearing that I said I was the moderator, and they wanted autonomy. That's in Lagos State. But the teachers in Lagos State, led by their president, Mr. Luka, said, no. Which autonomy? You're going to kill primary education if you give local governments autonomy.
No,
what do?
The same local governments across the country
yes.
eventually said, no, they don't. The National Assembly moved towards it to give them autonomy, but they said no.
Who's controlling the local government? The governors. And the governors don't want autonomy for those local governments.
But the teachers had a point. I mean, from their own experience, they found out that the local governments can hardly pay their salaries.
That is the issue. So, how do we resolve it? Allow states to create local governments as many as they want, provided they have the resources to manage them. Look, if we say that, I mean, it's public knowledge that
you've put a condition to it. We all know that that's not how it works, and that somehow, some way, the federal government is still responsible for giving a certain allocation to the states and the local governments by extension.
You know, the advocacy is that we want a federal government with limited powers. Federal government that will not control more than 20 or 30% of the resources.
Are we dreaming? I mean, do you think all of this is realistic?
Did we not have it in the past? Why should it be a dream?
Why is it such a difficult thing to... I mean, every time we hear about this thing, we had it in the past, it sounds like something that will remain in the past. Do you think that we have the will enough to be able to do what we need to do to move forward? Are you confident that we do have that?
I do not believe that with the present arrangement, we will do the right thing. Because you are yet to have patriotic people who are motivated by public good to be part of the process. Very few of them are involved now. And therefore, it gives me a lot of concern. This past that you are talking about, what is wrong in looking at the model you had when University of Ibadan, University of Ife were rated as one of the best in the world? What is wrong in reverting to a model when you had the first television station in Black Africa? What is wrong in reverting to a model that guaranteed free primary compulsory education? What is wrong in reverting to a model that ensured that development would be undiscriminatory? I mean, our law was from Ikene. It did put if University of Ife in Ikene, for God's sake.